you do roll call, please?
Yep. Ed Robinson,
Here.
Jennifer Gonzalez.
Here.
Mike Powers,
Here.
Audrey Costick,
Here.
Keith Kassemson.
Here.
Thank you, Natalie. Verification of public notice pursuant to 19.841 Wisconsin statutes.
Yes, the meeting was posted in all the usual spots, schoolhouse doors, Evergent, Village Hall, online. Media were notified and are present. I don't have a microphone, so I'm just gonna yell.
Well, do you want mine?
I can grab mine, it's okay.
I was like,
I'll
why
use
are
my
you
educator voice, you can hear
screaming
me.
at us? I hear you all the time at lunch and you're just fine.
I can handle
Need a
it.
microphone.
That's good, I got it.
I was in trouble.
That was my principal voice, I'm sorry.
Next, we'll need approve of the agenda of this meeting.
I make a motion to approve the agenda for this meeting.
A second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the agenda. All those in favor?
Aye.
Hold on.
Aye.
Any
I do have
opposed?
one thing about the agenda. I noticed on our board packet that it was saying it was our first read for the committee, the policy committee, and it should be second read.
Okay, noted.
I thought I read second.
Okay. Did we vote? All those in favor?
We did.
Okay. I didn't know with Mike jumping in there. All right, move to the consent agenda.
Motion to approve consent agenda.
Okay.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, we'll walk through all of these meeting minutes and approval of them. First is regular meeting minutes from November 17th, 25.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the regular meeting minutes from 11/17. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, the approval of workshop meeting minutes from 11/3/25.
Motion to approve. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Approval of special school board meeting minutes from 11/3/25.
Move to approve special board meeting minutes.
Second.
Approval for,
Ed, actually, I think you were absent from the 11-3 special board meeting, so I don't think you
I
can
was,
motion.
oh yes, I was. I apologize.
Oh, did you make a motion or did you?
He made the
you
motion.
made the
I'll
motion.
make a motion to
Yeah.
approve.
So we have a motion and a second to approve the special school board meeting minutes from 11/3/25. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Keep that in mind when we're going through the committee meeting minutes and whether you were in attendance or not. And those should be just the committee members.
Whomever attended, yes.
Yeah. Okay, next we move to approval of curriculum committee meeting minutes from 11/3/25.
I make a motion to approve the curriculum meeting minutes from 11/3/2025.
You
You
were
were
also
not there,
present.
I was there,
Yeah.
so I'll second that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Move approval of finance committee meeting minutes from 11/12/25.
I move to approve the finance committee meeting minutes from 11/12.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve the financial committee meeting minutes from 11/12/25. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Approval of policy committee meeting minutes from 11/17/25.
Move to approve policy committee minutes.
I'll second that.
Abstain.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Approval of facilities committee meeting minutes from 11/25/25.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, a motion and a second for the facility committee meeting minutes from 11:25. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, we'll move to the financial reports, and Jeff?
So, now that you've seen them for a couple months, what month is this? December? July, August, November. So I've been doing this for 6 months, so you've seen 6 of these. So I won't go into it in depth as much. And if you have any questions, just feel free to ask. So I'm not going to go through every cash disbursement and, numbers. So you see the first page, which has the payroll, accounts payable checks. Again, trying to write as few checks as possible because it's 74 cents per stamp now for 1 ounce. So if you want to go to the next one. So the bank reconciliation for the checking and the money market. Again, I'm trying to borrow as little as possible, so that's why you see the balances that are always low there, because I'm trying to hold at least 20,000 in the checking account. That allows me to sleep at night, so it doesn't go under. Cash receipts, number of cash receipts, we had a matching donation from We Energies to Mrs., I don't know how to say her name, Kessel. So I informed her what she can purchase for that donation. A couple reimbursements, again, you'll see reimbursements from Fund 21 to Fund 10. That just means it's easier to purchase things right now in Fund 10 and then reimburse them from Fund 21. So you always see a matching expense and reimbursement whenever I make that transition or that transfer. So if you just keep going, nothing unusual. If you have any questions about checks written, please feel free to ask. Someone had asked me about the descriptions of the checks. Skyward does not allow me to, because some of the checks have like 4 or 5 invoices. The Amazon one, for instance, maybe have 4 or 10 or 11 invoices in one check. It doesn't allow me to grab the names of the descriptions of the invoices that match anything close to the bank reconciliation, which is why you don't see the descriptions of them. So if you ever have any questions, just feel free to ask. You can always call me ahead of time and ask me, and I don't have anything, there's nothing, earth-shattering about what we're doing, so. And then Fund 21 bank account reconciliation. Again, you see the cash receipts. Oh, did I skip that?
Yep. Assets, liabilities.
Oh, yeah, so before the assets liabilities is the Fund 21.
Okay.
So then cash receipts, we have a new school store. It's pretty popular, I think. Concessions is basketball games. And then on the expense side, the cash disbursements, you'll see some, we had to get a cash box for the book fair. It's just coins. And then reimbursing musical expenses. So we paid some musical expenses out of Fund 10 and then reimbursed them. And then, again, a few things with the assets and liabilities to note. I know it's small. Again, the 10L81100 account is where the borrowing. So far, through November, we've borrowed $645,000 out of the $1.2 million. That's one of the things to note. And then the interest on that is held in 10L8117. They call it accrued interest. We haven't paid any of that out yet. It's just accruing, and that's $3,753. So that's based on the end of November. So if we were going to pay off the note at the end of November, that's how much interest we would pay. And then the Fund 21, you see the asset accounts, or the equity accounts, descriptions of all the funds so far that we're holding, just because it's easier to go from one year to the next, and it mostly involves students. And then the monthly financial report, again, is just a summary of all of the accounting. They don't always match necessarily because assets and liabilities do not go into the, aren't accounted for as expenses and revenues. So if you go to the bottom back, the end, it's fun and exciting. So there we have just the, I don't make any big projections for how under or over we're going to be yet. We obviously, most of the time, our expenses will exceed our revenues. And if you notice that the revenues say 25,000 and we had 72,000, that's because some of those revenues are receivables and some of them aren't necessarily in the revenues yet. And then people always ask about fund balance. So right now we're at a negative fund balance, but that's normal because in January and February we receive the majority of our tax revenue. So if you want to continue to the cash flow. So updated cash flow. So November we borrowed $365,000, and then projected a little bit more borrowing in December and January. We did receive, in December, we received our first aid payment. So the revenue for that is a little bit more, so we should be able to borrow less. And then projecting moving forward. So hopefully we won't be borrowing all 1.2 million. That's one of my goals. So the next sheet, remember the ones above in yellow are just projections, the ones that are in white are actuals. So again, updating the comparisons for November 2025. Again, we had some funds from the state trust fund loan, which is why there's a big discrepancy in actuals there. And then just the graph for cash position. So again, October, November, December, keep going. People like graphs. So if you see we're right now on the bottom there for as far as actual cash. And many people have asked me and entities about the audit. I think I literally just received the audit at 5:55 p.m. today. So I'm going to look at it and look it over. I've been going back and forth with the auditor the last couple days. They've been bombarding me with things they want, and so I've been giving them stuff back and forth. I think this is the final version that they gave me. I need to look it over just to make sure because they made just a few errors that I had to check. And then I created a page on our website. It's called, I think it's the business services page, and then I'll be making the audit as a link that anyone can download. It'll be living there moving forward. I'll be putting budgets on there because we want to be as transparent as possible. It'll be all there. Anybody can look at it and download it at any time because not everybody does Google either. So when I send the audit to people, it's good for them to have a link because some of them can't use Google in their businesses. So, any questions?
So Jeff, we did receive an open records request today for our audit, and so I just want to mention that because we want to be transparent. We just got the audit today at 5:55. So what will be submitted to DPI will get finalized, and what did the auditors communicate with you in terms of the timeline for the finalized packet?
Well, I think I have the finalized digital copy. So
Okay.
the finalized packet that you all can get is probably going to be beginning of January. So the 5th or the 2nd or the 6th, around that time.
So in the new year.
In the new year, yeah.
But as soon as we have that, obviously I can issue it. It's hard when when you are requested a packet that doesn't exist yet.
Right, yep.
In a finalized version. So once finalized and submitted and everything, we will certainly get it up. I think the other piece of it is with the tab on the website, that'll be a great place to go in the future to reference that. So.
Yep.
Okay, thank you, Jeff. Is there a motion to approve the financials?
I move to approve the financial reports by Jeff.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the financials as presented. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Do we have a student showcase tonight?
Yes, we do. Let me get that up here. Our student showcase doesn't have any students. Kind of weird, but that's okay. We had a great project that's in the back. If you get a chance, it's on all the tables. Those are the planets, and I'll show you a video here that describes exactly what the project is. Reason for the showcase not being totally shown is several of the students that we're going to be showcasing have a basketball game tonight. So
I'm getting texts from people that there's no visual, there's only audio.
okay, I can certainly check that once I'm up and running here. Hold on. So I've got it here. I can show you where the stream is live. That's all I can do. So you can see that it's streaming, and there are 6 views. Currently 4 people watching. So that's what my level of technical skill is with this right now. All right. But thank you.
Here.
So let me just show you. I've got to refresh this. It's a little large. Oh. People stole the plug.
As a part of their unit on a rover story, 7th grade students studied different planets and space objects like Pluto and the Moon in STEAM class. Students studied the livability factors of their different space objects, but really focused on what the atmospheres of each planet or object was made up of. Then the 7th grade class chose a color to represent each of the gases that exist in the different atmospheres. Then during art class, the students created pour paintings that represented the different proportions of atmospheric gases of their space object. Students used different strategies to pour their paint, so each painting looks different, but there are similarities in paintings of the same planet because they're made up of the same things.
My name is Jace. I did Mercury. Mercury has oxygen, sodium, hydrogen, helium, and many other gases in the atmosphere, and I used a feathering technique with a popsicle stick.
My name is McKenna, and I did Venus for my fourth painting. Venus has nitrogen and carbon dioxide, and then I poured my paint and swirled it. Hi, my name's Cindy, and I did the moon, and the gases that I have are argon, helium, and sodium, and I poured it in like a line.
Hi, my name is Kaden Wolf. I did Mars, and in Mars it has carbon dioxide, nitrogen, oxygen, and argon, and I kind of started in the middle and like went out.
Hi, my name is Izzy. I did Jupiter. I have sodium, hydrogen, and helium. I poured my painting onto the canvas, and I used a popsicle stick to swirl it.
Hi, my name is Brooklyn. I chose the planet Saturn, and the gases that came with the planet were sodium, hydrogen, and helium. And the strategy I used was like a swirl, and then I took the popsicle sticks and I swirled it, and then like I blew on the end.
Hi, my name is Jameson. I did Uranus, and the gases in the atmosphere are hydrogen, helium, and methane. The technique I did is I poured the paint on my canvas and I spun it.
Hi, my name is Kennedy Tushadi, and I did the planet Neptune, and the gases that are on Neptune are sodium, hydrogen, helium, and others. I did this by pouring it in a swirl and moving it around.
Hi, my name is Owen. I did food over my planet. The gases are carbon dioxide and nitrogen. And I poured the paint on here and I did the popsicles for designs.
That was really good.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I know.
So there you have it, great STEM collaboration between STEM class and art class. That crossover is really important, and the kids had a great time with it. At surface value, you just walk around and go, okay. But there's a lot more to it, and I just think it's important that with the right context, of course, all of our learning becomes comes to life. So I want to thank the teachers for doing that, and of course, Zoe using your technologies, and now we can showcase this on our website and show off some cool things kids are doing. So thank you to Ms. Rodriguez. If you get a chance, maybe shoot her an email and tell her thanks.
Thank you to Zoe and all the students that
That was really
presented.
cool. I want to learn more now.
Okay, we move to the public portion of the meeting.
We do have two inputs here, public input for comments.
Okay.
I'll call Don Peterson.
Hello, my name is Dawn Peterson, and I am representing the Raymond School Foundation, for which I have been a member and the president probably for the last 5 or 6 years. Don't exactly remember. And life has gotten busy, and I am looking, the foundation is looking for anyone that might be interested in continuing to further take over the foundation. We've got small-ish cash balance. We also continue to hold money for the Jill Peterson Scholarship, which is given annually at the high school. So I would help coordinate that, transfer the records, things like that. Again, the foundation was created, I think, in 2015, if I've got that right. We have been in existence really to support the Raymond School. Our goal is not to compete with the PTO, but to fund larger projects. 2 examples would be the outdoor classroom pavilion in the back, and then we did the front office remodel. That was the first project at the beginning. And so really, again, not looking to compete with the PTO, but just be another avenue to support the Raymond School. So if you're interested, you can let me know or reach out to the school, share the word, and then I will get connected with Dr. Leach if we've got others interested. Again, I can get you the tax returns, all those things, or answer any questions that you might have, but in good standing, like I said, we've got some dollars and exist for the benefit of the school.
How are funds raised?
Donations generally, and again, a lot of money came in when for the scholarship, yeah. But otherwise, other than that, it's just been a handful of people really. And again, also we've gotten some matching donations in the past as well, right? If the companies want to donate, or individuals, and then there's a company match, so.
Don, how do we get the community to be more aware of it?
Yeah, great question. And looking for all the ideas. I just don't have additional time to be able to do that.
Okay. How much is Jill Peterson's scholarship?
Probably have any memory of what I told you a few weeks ago?
You said it's about $4,000 that's
sounds
in
about
the
right.
fund, but the amount given each year, I think, is it 500 or 1,000?
It depends on how many scholarships. So the Jill Peterson family has a committee that reads all the applications, and then the family decides. So some years they only give one. Other years they've given, I think I've written up to 3 or 4 checks, and then the amount varies based on how many they're going to award. So the family continues to run that, maintain that. They coordinate all of the details, yeah, with the high school, and then they reach out to me only when they need the dollars, and if we want to attend the ceremony at the high school, we can as well.
Is it only for Raymond students?
It
that
is.
Get the scholarships?
It is.
Oh, good.
And there's additional money beyond just the
Sure.
Jill Peterson scholarship that continue to be in the account, a few thousand.
Yeah, it was a couple thousand.
Yeah.
It's really important that we have a foundation. I think it's great, even though we're small. I came from a district that was also small, but the community up there was a lot like this community, a lot of people who just spend their life working, and as they as lives, kind of wind down, they want to give back. And so the foundation's a great vehicle for that. It does have tax, benefit, and I think it's just something it would be a shame to see go away. If we can't find anyone to run it, you've been great about, Dawn, trying to keep it afloat, just limping along, but I think it needs some new blood.
New energy,
and
new ideas, yeah.
Because you've had some kids who have come through the system, but they're well on their way in adulthood now. So alumni as well want to welcome. Some people want to give back as they leave. So we had some huge luck up north where I was. So a couple of couples donated. A church closed and literally liquidated everything and gave it to the school district foundation.
Right.
So it's a great opportunity, but one that definitely needs some nurturing and support. So
Is
want to
it
encourage.
on the Raymond school?
It is a small link on our website. We certainly want to point people to it. We want to also freshen it up though, because obviously it's been a couple of years.
Yeah.
Pretty heavy involvement in the early teens, 2010 to 2015-ish.
Correct, and getting it rolling, and all of the dollars raised stay and go to the benefit of the school. So anybody that's been associated with the foundation, including the organization, all of the legal work, et cetera, has all been donated by members that have participated on the foundation board. So we've not used any dollars to pay for any of the administrative stuff. So I think that is also really important to be able to recognize, and hopefully can continue in the future. But again, everybody's got to do what makes sense. We've got the framework, I've got all the files, I've got lots of history, and I can get anyone or any group of people up to speed as might be needed. We're just looking for people to get involved.
Who decides how the funding is spent?
The board, generally,
Oh, the
in connection with the school. And so we haven't made, other than to pay for the last project, which was the pavilion out back. And that was a focused plan and a focused fundraise and a focused please donate. Other than that, then the funds have just grown. Again, they're not substantial. And so we would always work in connection with the school, and what the school is asking and needing, again, not to conflict with the PTO and what they're trying to do on an annual basis, but really be a destination, as Dr. Leach said, right? If somebody were so inclined to leave a small part of their estate to the foundation, that would be a vehicle then that could, again, benefit the school on a long-term or potentially more impactful basis.
You and Doug White were talking about sharing information on the websites and stuff. Can you put something up on the school website about the foundation, a special, like you do your calendar thing, a special page, and ask the village to do it also? And then the people who are gonna donate now, a lot of those people don't do anything with the internet. Maybe hand out flyers at the next election. I know you can hand out stuff as long as it's not political and you have the village's permission. That might be a way to reach a lot of people who do not use the internet.
Those are great ideas. Appreciate that.
Yes, senior breakfast, sure. So I think the cross promotion's definitely necessary, but we want to get the word out right now, so thank you.
Brilliant, thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you, Dawn.
Thanks, Dawn. And then Doree. Am I supposed to be timing?
Yeah.
2 minutes. 2 minutes? I didn't time the last one. All right.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm just here to make a suggestion, because I've noticed the last few budgets you've presented, like at the end of October, there was $15,000 in the account, and then in November, there was $39,000. So to me, it looks like you're using the approximate $105,000 of the referendum funds that, which you cannot use by state statute for anything other than referendum stuff. Why don't we try, there is a way to do it. If you take the Fund 39 balance sheet and you take it and you have an opportunity by calculating annual revenue limit formula and then reducing it to the approximate 105,000 of Fund 39 cash. This can be accomplished, and the district needs to get rid of this money because it's not doing you any good right now. And obviously, we have issues that we could possibly use that money for. So if you change the revenue limit and deduct the 105,000 from it for the 1 year, you would be able to get rid of it. Because right now it looks as far as Fund 39, there's about $105,000 positive and $105,000 negative, and then it shows zero. But yet your balance in your checking account for the last 2 months shows a whole lot less than that. So that's my...
Yeah, appreciate that. I think, thank you for paying such close attention to stuff. I think, Jeff, at some other point, you could probably comment on it, but we did not have our monthly pre-meeting, the committee meeting, which would be a great place for that to be discussed because we had an illness that suddenly had us cause to cancel. But that'd be a great subject to bring up there, but I think Jeff can certainly maybe reach out, or you could reach out to Jeff and we could coordinate. I agree. I think it's tricky because that's debt. But we want to make sure whatever we're doing is aligned with what our audit firm would recommend
The
too.
state statute
Sure.
tells you exactly how to do it. And
Sure.
I mean, to get that $105,000 to, be used somewhere where it's needed rather than having to have it sit there, I mean, that doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. Okay, that's it.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Thank you, Dory.
And that's all I have.
Okay. All right, now we'll move on to district business.
Jeff, do you have a... No? No comment, okay.
First, is our school calendar approval.
Yes, it is that time of year. Hard to believe we're already talking about 26, 27, not 6, 7, as the kids would say. By the way, that means nothing. So every day I hear that. So the calendar that's proposed here, a couple of things. We do talk with our staff. We survey our staff. We had a PD. The staff has seen this calendar. It's not a secret to them. A couple of things we try to incorporate is obviously recognizing that when you have time away from the classroom, that obviously can cause families issue with just, trying to find support as they're working, and, coverage for their kids is important. So the calendar outlines, basically, we looked at our number of minutes. It does work in the calculation. Both Mr. Genovese and Ms. Marty went through the calculations on DPI's website, which are very helpful. It has 172 student contact days based on our minutes of instruction, so that meets the requirements of DPI. That is 1 day less than we currently have, but it is still in alignment. We did have professional development scattered throughout each month, which is really helpful to keep continuous improvement at the forefront of things. The more often we see each other, the more often things continue to get done. So we have something each month, which is great. We also had a chance to try to survey our community, and the community said, whatever we can do to try to get that calendar to be respectful of not going too deep into June would be helpful. We did list on here when summer school would start, so people can plan, for summer school, but this looks like basically a June 3rd. We would do away with the last half day of school and just have a full day of school that last day was really the big change to the calendar, because the half day was just that, it was a half day. So that's really what we took away from our count. And then we, like I said, reshuffled. Both the holiday breaks this year and next year are pretty long. So to our advantage, I guess we just wanted to make sure we didn't have too long a stretch. We have school next week, Monday and Tuesday, for those who are listening. A lot of districts around us don't. So please come to school next Monday and Tuesday and give your parents a chance to get ready for the holidays, or catch some last sleep before your kids are off for 14 days. So this is the calendar as it stands. It's been endorsed by our leadership team, and our staff have seen it, and we want to look for approval tonight.
what is your, starting school after Labor Day? Yeah, Labor Day. Like, did we not do that? I thought we used to do that.
We used to, with Labor Day being late this year, I'm sorry, that's the biggest piece of the two. We would be starting before Labor Day, and that was agreed upon by the 4 area feeders. It's hard because that would put us on the 8th as a start date, which then puts everything into like through the second week in June. So we would be here an additional 5 days, which would put us last day around the 11th, which is a pretty late, and it pushes off summer school then. So then summer school, we like to get done before the 4th of July because summer school after 4th of July is a ghost town, despite our best efforts. So all the districts around us agreed, we share transportation, that the 1st would be advantageous, and we don't have to worry about going too deep into the school year. So
Pretty much answered my question. I was gonna say we're pretty much.
Labor Day is late this year. Yep. It's the latest it pretty much could ever be.
Why don't you just start on the 31st?
We felt like September 1 might just be easier to say, because believe it or not, a lot of people still don't even know that. When we say it's the first day, I wish they all, when does school start? So, and some of that's our staff. No, I'm just kidding. They all know when the school starts. So yeah, we went with the 1st, just to give that time in case people are, traveling over weekends at that time of year, et cetera. So that was the agreed upon. We could do the 31st, but I feel like the 1st is easier to schedule. That way we're September 1 to June 3, pretty clean.
When is Easter? Does anybody know?
The Easter holiday is actually nestled into our spring break this year.
It is, okay.
Yeah, so it's one of those that's an earlier Easter, so therefore it's, the Good Friday is actually the 26th of March.
Oh, you're kidding.
And then we did wrap, you'll notice, professional development days immediately following. So we did one after Thanksgiving, which was very well received by both staff and families, because they had that extra day after the Thanksgiving break and an extra day after the Easter break, which was well received, just to kind of have a little bit of a slow start to that week, because kids come back tired, staff come back tired, so that's where it falls.
I'll make a motion to approve the 26-27 school calendar. I second it.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the 2026-2027 school calendar. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next to the policy approval from Neola, the second read.
Yes, we conducted our second read, and Mike will go through and read the policies that are being reviewed. Just want to note that we addressed the administrative guidelines that go along with these policies is something that's done internally by myself. I'm granted that permission by Board Policy 1230-01. So as all these things, there's so many layers to the policy. There's the policy, then there's the AGs, and then there's the technical corrections. There's lots of layers to it. Some of that's done just in between, and some of it is done by board approval. So these are new policies that are either revised or some are rescinded based on the policies that are being developed. So Mike, if you want to review those.
Oh, yeah, another time to read them. Some easy reading. There you go.
Yeah. Alrighty, so we're on bylaw 100, definitions as revised. Bylaw 144.5, board member behavior, communications, and code of conduct revised. Bylaw 166.1, consent agenda revised. Policy 1461, unrequested leaves of absence, fitness for duty revised. Policy 2440.01, summer or intern school attendance revised. Policy 2522, library media centers revised. Policy 3120.04, employment of substitutes revised. Policy 3120.08, employment of personnel for co-curricular, extracurricular activities revised. Policy 3431, employee leaves revised.
Policy 4431, employee leaves revised. Policy 3432, employee sick leave revised. Policy 4432, employee sick leave revised. Policy 4124, notice of reasonable assurance of employment revised. Policy 4140, termination or resignation revised. Policy 4213, student supervision and welfare revised. Policy 5112, entrance age revised. Policy 5310.01, emergency nursing services or plan replacement. Policy 5411, third grade promotion and retention at-risk students revised. Policy 5464, early graduation revised. Policy 5505, academic honesty revised. Policy 5530, student use or possession of intoxicants, drugs, or paraphernalia revised. Policy 7440.03, small unmanned aircraft systems or drones revised. Policy 7450, property inventory revised. Policy 7455, accounting system for capital assets revised. Policy 7460, conservation of natural and material resources revised. Policy 7530.02, staff and school officials' use of personal communication devices revised. Policy 8120, volunteers revised. Policy 8420, school safety revised. Policy 8500, school services revised. Policy 8510, wellness revised. Policy 8531, free and reduced priced meals revised. Policy 8540, vending machines revised. Policy 8550, competitive food sales revised. And policy 9151, use of cameras and other recording devices in locker rooms revised. And that is the list.
Take a breath. Is there a motion to approve the policies as written and discussed with Neola?
I make a motion to approve the policies as written and discussed with Neola. Read by Mike.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the policies that were revised or rewritten and discussed with Neola. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We move to review of enrollment policies.
Yes, just wanted to point to the board tonight. Last month, we had a discussion about open enrollment, just with some, well, really it was a discussion about our enrollment overall. And of course, it went to resident versus non-resident enrollment. So I want to point the board to policy 5113, which outlines all the aspects of open enrollment from soup to nuts. So it covers everything from impact on class size to program size, et cetera. So some of the things that we talked about in our enrollment discussions last month about, when we make decisions for the future. And so I think it's important that as the board makes this decision in January, they understand that it's not as simple as just either turning on or turning off a valve. These are kids and families, and enrollment is important to us. And so there's some guidelines here for our decision making, as well as what to consider when looking at our open enrollment numbers. So next month we will have the state statute required discussion about our numbers. Jeff will share some predictions with his wonderful spreadsheet of what we anticipate, and then we will make the decision for, the board will decide how many seats for open enrollment that we're going to open up for next school year, and we'll go from there. So it's really important. Again, we have this out there for the public to see. We have this out there for our board to see. We've had some great discussions as board members have had questions. It's an important decision for us, especially because it has a fiscal impact and a cultural impact for our school. So it's important to have all the aspects of the policy. There's 6 pages, so it's definitely important to understand. And one of the questions that always gets asked is, you know, if an open enrollment family is not working out for whatever reason, what are some of those criteria and what happens? And that's also outlined in the policy. So very comprehensive policy. This is what Neola is doing now. They took a bunch of small policies and they jam it into a really long one. So it's important that you familiarize yourself with that policy before the decision next month.
Okay, thank you, Mike. Next, we'll move to the annual budget calendar adoption.
I think I've had you approve this once before. It might have been when I first started. So believe it or not, the budget process starts in December. So it starts this month for next year's budget. So if you look at the activity on the first page, sort of who's responsible, a lot of it is me collecting data. Your first job is to approve this budget calendar. I start reviewing expenses, so I've had 6 months of expenses so far. Gives me a better handle on what I think we're spending our money on. January, I start doing some more review, start looking at enrollment, which Mike said has a fiscal impact. February, you will look at review of projections and assumptions. There's some budget information that I present to staff. And then April, May, and June, we start doing some budget discussions. I'm not sure if you've ever had budget discussions here before, but I call in the big players and we have to make, you know, big decisions based on how much money we think we're going to have next year. That's the first part of the calendar. And then it basically ends in October or November. So my budget, the budgeting calendar is a little different than the fiscal year calendar. And if you scroll down to the next page. So these are all the reports that I'm submitting. So for each month, you'll see them. These are
just a couple reports?
Yeah.
Just a few.
So I don't submit all of these, but these are potential, I'd say maybe like 10 of them I don't have to submit, but a lot of them I do, and so it's just part of my job. I have a list, I check it off to make sure that I'm not getting angry emails from the IRS or from DPI, and so just asking you, so if you ever wonder what I'm doing each month, like the big things, this is in the bigger picture, so.
I make a motion to approve the annual budget calendar as proposed by Jeff Genovese.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second to approve the annual budget calendar as proposed. Any other discussion? No? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And then we move on to the follow-up on the feasibility study discussion.
Yes, obviously we rolled right from the feasibility study presentations into this meeting. So if the board wanted to have any open discussion, they certainly could. I just want to remind of our timeline here. Jeff has been great about outlining this. We got the RFP out, we followed all the steps there, we had our presentations tonight. We will be making, the board will be making a decision in early January. We'd like that decision made at the January 5th workshop. So we will have another special meeting. More than likely, the board can decide either before or after that board meeting. And the concept there is that the board would have looked through the materials, asked questions. We are available. We can certainly reach out to any of the firms. And they want our business. So we've got to make a decision because as you saw in all their timelines, January was sort of the hit start time. And all of them talked about very doable for November potential, if that's what the board and community decides. But again, we want to start this process in January. So January 5th would be the decision day on that. And so I'd encourage anybody from the public, if they want to see the proposals, or if any of the board members have any questions, certainly this would be the time frame to get involved with those discussions. You know, we've got a week here before break, and we've got over break as well. If you have something's really in your mind as you have that wonderful holiday cocktail party, someone starts talking to you about it, be careful. But I think it's important just to get those questions out there. So any discussion initially from the board?
I do have a question. And I think Ed felt the same way, because he went, why, PRA was the first one, right? And PRA did Waterford Junior School or whatever, but they weren't asked, PRA wasn't asked to come back and do the high school. So the last one, Nexus, is doing the high school, if I remember correctly. So
They're two separate districts.
yeah, but you would think that they would talk to each other,
Well,
just like you talk to Yorkville.
You never know.
True, but that was my thought, Jeff, that it interested me that they went with Nexus.
Well, then there was the midstream shift of Salem,
Yes,
not the most recent Salem, back to, so that there's interesting twist to all this as you look at what we want is unique to Raymond. I think that's what I heard from all of them.
Our USD uses all three, basically.
Sure.
So, you know, it's
Depending on the
kind of who
project.
you feel comfortable with.
I do like, in my opinion, I really liked Nexus. I know they are the least expensive, but I like that they put bids out there to get a better price from local people. But on the other hand, if they're not all working together, are we missing, you know, because PRA brought in everybody, right? They have everybody already on their team.
No.
They still bid it out too?
Well, PRA has some preferred
They're different business models.
business model, yeah, a little different model.
Completely different.
Completely
And so
different.
Nexus had the kind of no fee unless you win
Right.
mantra, and PRA had some upfront cost and said basically if your community doesn't want a referendum, we're still gonna get paid for what we produced for you,
Right.
which is a nice book of projects that you have to do, and figure out how to pay for it if you don't go to referendum. So different models, and then Bray was kind of, in my opinion, sort of in the middle, you know, of
Right.
all three of them, so.
Oh, they definitely three were all different, but their cost was completely different as well.
Right. Now, I do want to point out that Nexus was very little upfront cost. They do have a cost after that is not hefty, but it's respectable in terms of the cost, based on how much you would pass in a referendum.
So they will all charge you
Yeah.
in their general conditions after the fact. Nexus's model is more of, like he said, when you get the funding, it ends up being, you know, you're not paying for it out of your operations.
Right.
So it's sort of baked into the general conditions when you're like paying for certain line items in the referendum. So they make it very clear how much it's going to be. They all will probably do that too.
Yes.
So,
They're all gonna get paid
yeah, they're all going to get paid in some way.
But
It's-
one way or another.
but the pay level is different if I'm
It probably is, yeah.
PRA, Bray, and then Nexus.
Right.
Are we getting any other people to come and
No, those
showcase?
are,
Are we down to
those are the three that bid.
Okay.
Jeff, do you know what happens if Nexus, with Nexus, if it does not pass?
They keep trying, don't they?
So they give you options, and I only know because I've been working with them for 2 years. They will give you options on what you want to do. So everybody will do the facility study. They'll give you a booklet of costs, how much this will cost. Nexus, they are pretty accurate in what, you know, their cost is their fee based on, their fee and how much they know these projects will cost. So, what was your question?
What if it doesn't pass?
Oh, if it doesn't pass. So they will also give you the option to like partner with them for like 3 or 4 years. So if they're committed to you for 3 or 4 years, Once we pay for the facility study, if we continue with Nexus, they will have another, agreement on, we're gonna stick with you for 3 or 4 years, we're not gonna abandon you, that type of thing. That's just my experience with them.
What I gathered from Nexus is that they're down-to-earth people, the construction backgrounds and engineering backgrounds, whereas sometimes architects, they get a little, gotta make it look nice and do everything, and then you gotta pull them back in and all of that. So it seems to me that they seem to be a little more reasonable in what we're looking for. We're not looking for the Taj Mahal.
And they use an architect firm, so they do.
But they take on the
Yeah,
responsibility.
but they take on the responsibility.
To make
So
sure that they stay.
the architects at Yorkville, they had a retirement and someone didn't do something, so then the cabinets were off. So then Nexus owned that entire mistake. So if stuff like that is where the advantage comes in.
When do they tell us how much the feasibility study costs?
It's in their bid.
Yeah,
So for instance, PRA was about 21,000.
So you've already got it.
Yeah, Nexus was about 4,600 and Bray was about 9,500.
but that didn't include the referendum.
Correct, it's just a
stuff
facility study.
For all three.
So that big booklet they were giving you, that's what you're gonna get.
Right.
That was PRA to get.
Yeah, and Nexus had one too, the 85-page facility study. So it's usually like 100 pages, so.
And either way, no matter who's picked, we have a critical element of communication and marketing that has to be addressed in our community to get the word out.
Yep.
And it's a unique community in that not everybody is online, not everybody's on social media. So we have to really take a customized approach that may be different than places. Nexus seems to have understood the local flair with Yorkville connected to it, but others, did Union Grove, and that's what PRA had said. So clearly, they understand how some communities work, but every community is different, and Raymond's got that special twist where we just want to make sure the information gets out, because that was the piece that was hard with the last one. And once we got people to hear and come here and see what we're doing, it wasn't a hard sell, but the problem was getting people here, because they're busy and, hunkered down in their lives, so.
To me, Nexus had more of a fiscal concern and watchdog than the other ones did. To me, that's what they build their business on. That's kind of what I gather. And their model is different, how they do a project. So I can see why they can be cheaper. Said all the right things.
Yeah, he did. But he also mentioned, and I'm assuming that Bray and PRA have the same thing, but that financial guarantee, that if they go over, or if they're under bid, or under budget, whatever, you know what I'm saying? The
If they're over
guarantee.
budget, they'll redesign
Yes.
and take it on themselves to get
Correct,
there.
correct.
When I was at convention last year, they were talking about that, and there are a lot of companies out there that will not give you that guarantee, and they were telling us to really watch it when we do our referendums and these projects, because a lot of these companies will come in, they'll do stuff, and then all of a sudden, the cost went up, the cost went up, the cost went up.
Yeah.
So they didn't have them financial guarantees in there, and the cost in that went up. So we really have to be careful watching for that. So that's a good thing that Nexus has that guarantee, but you really gotta watch it with all of these, because you never know what's gonna happen. Look at 5 years ago, building materials went up a lot, and I know personally because I'm in the trades. And that was small scale compared to something like this, so we've really gotta keep it, and if they got a business model that's gonna be that close, that's something to really take a look at.
Jeff, who did the construction for Nexus at Yorkville?
So Nexus organized the bids,
Yes.
so they asked us for input, so for instance, we had Christensen do the masonry, we had Dinesco do the electrics, a lot of people that work with us.
So they broke it down.
Yep, so they broke down every job, and they got bids for every part of the job.
Oh, well, that's how they get.
They had
That's what
we had
he was saying that.
yeah, we had unit ventilators, but we had Gruno do, and then they purchased from,
Part of that is what my concern is all the subcontractors communicating with each other on what's happening, but if that's not our responsibility, that's.
No, they have a CM that's there all the time.
Right.
That's organizing
They're
all of
taking
them
on a
together.
guarantee.
There's actually two of them usually.
Okay, that's good to know.
And those are all local people, if I,
Yeah, Kyle's he lives in Kansasville.
that's fantastic, okay.
That's nothing wrong.
Okay, anything else?
Bless you.
So again, that was just for your information, and at the next board workshop, we would have a special meeting for the board to consider that, so.
Okay, we move on to committee reports and curriculum we did not have. It's coming up on February 2nd. Facilities will be January 27th. Finance was canceled. So there wasn't one this month. And personnel, no, no meeting this month. Policy,
We'll be holding a next meeting on February 16th, and we worked through batch 34-1, which we just did our second read on, so everything, I think we're right on track. I think we just have an update or something coming up on this next one, or.
34-2 came out last week, so
Yeah,
there's
that's what
more.
it was.
So there's more,
We're waiting for
yeah.
that to come out.
Great.
before.
There's always more.
Right.
okay, thank you, Mike. And Mike, okay. we will-
Yes, I'll make it quick. There's lots going on. People are really enjoying this time of year. It's really great energy to be a part of an elementary, middle school in this time of year. Kids remind us every day that guess what? Christmas is coming. Winter concerts have been great. We started off just before Thanksgiving, and we've really tried to marathon race this thing all the way through. We have our last concert on the 18th. Coming up here for band and choir in 6th, 7th, 8th grade. So if you can make it out at 6 p.m. on Thursday, and just want to say our music program is just a lot of fun, and our teachers do an outstanding job. So they're doing more with less this year, but they're still doing it, and that's impressive and super committed. Student Council food drive was a success. We collected lots of items, made the paper, great article in Racine Journal-Times. And just was really nice to see our student council kids step up and engage in some community service give back. I think it was 1,700 items were donated, which is pretty cool. It's about 100 boxes. And then the blood drive was held almost the same week, and that was a lot of fun. For our students don't engage in that because they're not of age, but the community, I think we had 12 donations, so we're looking at that model for the future. It's tough because 12 is not very many, but the community is pretty desperate for blood, so if you get a chance to donate blood, please go to Versiti and take care of that because the community needs it. They came here for 12 people. That's how much they need it. So I want to thank Student Council for that, and to our teachers, Ms. Adamchek and Ms. Klein, for giving up their time. That was a Saturday, so they were here all day on a Saturday just watching people give their blood. Winter Formal was last Friday. Nobody asked me to go, so I didn't go. But Winter Formal was last Friday. It was actually my birthday, so I got to celebrate on my own. It was hosted by our 8th grade parent committee, and we just want to thank them for putting on a great event. Kids had a blast. Middle school kids love getting dressed up in their duds, and they just look great. And great pictures, great time. Very simple. Get dressed up nice, have some food. They fed them, and they danced. So a lot of fun. And then the proceeds from that will go to our 8th grade graduation costs. And then staff holiday potluck. We have a great culture here, a lot of great people who just want to support each other and gain weight over the holidays. So we have a staff holiday potluck that's going on this coming week. We had an underground Spirit Week last week, so our staff dressed up in random things connected to each other, and the kids had to guess what the day was. So we had a couple of fun days. Like one was a Zoom call day, so you had to go business on top, pajamas on the bottom, because that's what you do when you're on a Zoom call, apparently. So I'm glad everybody wore pants. So that was a lot of fun. And every day kids had to guess. This week is kids up in front wearing all their stuff. So today was Red and Green Day, and this week they've got Spirit stuff every day. We also have themed lunch hour, and Ms. Hanson got to listen to Frosty the Snowman 5 times today, because we have 5 lunches. They were playing on our TVs. And the middle school kids, actually, I think, liked it just as much as the 4Kers and 5Kers. So tomorrow we're showing Elf. It's every day, because we want to just really keep this going every day. So a lot of great things going on. Just really happy with this time of the year. That's what we've got going on. Miss Marty?
Okay, my voice is kind of going a little bit too, which you may enjoy tomorrow. Okay, we are finishing up our access testing, which it is for students who are identified as language learners. They take the test until they show proficiency in speaking, listening, writing, and reading. And then from there, we develop individual language plans in order to assist teachers in knowing what learning supports would work best for that student. So this year, we tested 7 students. We're still finishing that up. The other big thing is the math pilot. We're in the midst of piloting Reveal Math by McGraw-Hill and Math and You by Big Ideas. Every teacher was given the opportunity to watch their partner teacher in the opposite program. So there's 2 first grade teachers, one's doing Math and You and the other's doing Reveal. We'll be meeting after break to collect our thoughts and seek further clarification if we need to. And then after January 19th, we will switch to our second round of pilots. So they're doing a lot of work around this, and the kids are experiencing new things too. Just wanted to mention, because that, I think you didn't mention, Mike, I don't think. On the 19th, the UGHS carolers are coming as well, and we always really love that, and the teachers like to
Just add
see
one
their
more great thing.
Yes, one more great thing. Soon, over the next few weeks, we'll be concentrating on report cards, followed by our mid-year benchmark testing.
Wow. Thank you. We move to board comments, board member comments. Anybody?
I will make a quick comment and want to say a big thank you to all of our younger kid teachers, because now that I am working in the school and helping with lunches and recesses, the amount of crazy that they deal with dressing the children in the morning and getting them in and out of the classrooms and in and out of the recess, they are godsends, because it is chaos. I am learning. I love it, because I get to see my grandson and a bunch of other kids that call me just about every other nickname that I could find, from Coach to Bumpa to Mr. Pickles and Mr. Potato. So it's a lot of fun. I'm having a good time doing it, but a lot of respect, especially the older they get. You can tell the older they get, they are a lot more respectful, a lot more on their own. But them little guys and the younger grades, those teachers are doing amazing, especially kindergarten being 46 children, I think it is. And they are crazy. There's a lot. So big kudos to the younger teachers.
I did see you zipping up jackets and putting boots on.
And mittens and getting snowballs, and some of them want to do other things with me, and I have to remind them I'm still here and they can't do those things even though they know me. So yeah, it's a lot of fun though, so a lot of kudos to that.
Good. Anything else? I'm good. I just want to say a quick shout out to Mrs. Walsh and her, there's my voice again, her concerts, her Christmas concerts. They were very well done. The seats were loaded. There were lots and lots of people. Next one's coming up on Thursday, and this is 5th through 8th band and
6th through 8th.
6th through 8th.
And choir.
Choir 6 through 8, band 5.
right,
Oh, yep.
right, and the choir. So if you're able, I think it starts at 6.
Yep.
And you can see them all in action, and especially Mrs. Walsh.
If you can find a parking spot.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Hopefully no more snow. And just the other thing, I'd like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. I hope you have beautiful holidays and remember why we celebrate this season.
Just a reminder though, it is listed here, there is a board vacancy that is up for election in April, and the paperwork is due now in December, January 6th technically is the due date at midnight. I'm sorry, not midnight, 5 p.m. I won't be here till midnight, 5 p.m. that day.
Coming at 11:59.
If interested, it's,
That's the 5th, January 5th.
okay,
That's what he said January 6th. Oh, it's the 5th at 5 p.m.
Okay, I can double check that.
Who's the vacancy?
I was only elected in for a year, I think, to
Right.
fill someone's spot.
Right, there was a vacancy that, last election, there were 3 seats. 2 were 3-year seats and 1 was a 1-year seat, and so this is the 1-year seat. So if you're interested, please see the office. There's a packet and a process, and I can give you some information about the vacancies, so.
Okay. And we have the state convention coming up in January. If anyone's interested.
I told Mike today, so I'm in,
Okay.
especially since I'm the delegate.
It's a world of information there. So let Mike know if you're interested in that. Our future board meetings, our board workshop will be on Monday, January 5th at 5:30, followed by a special board meeting directly after. And a regular meeting for January will be, excuse me, January 19th at 6:30 p.m. And that concludes our business for tonight.
For the record, it is first Tuesday, which is the 6th.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Damn, I've been printing the wrong date.
I want to just make sure we're precise, because
No, thank you.
someone
Now I have
might
to-
come in
I
and,
have stories to correct now.
there you, please, just credit Raymond for being on top of it for once. There we go.
Now I have articles to correct.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn our meeting for today.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion
Thank you for
carried. Motion
hanging with
carries.
us for what?
We're adjourned at 8:24.
3.5 hours.
Yes, amen.
Thank you all for coming.
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
I said, oh,
I found my
Did each of us get a break?
Yes, each of us got a braid. That was the only one that we got. This one was done very nicely, but usually
Were they going to resend it?
because you know the sewer laterals are a lot of them in like older homes are clay or whatever, right? So they develop some material.
I remember that. Yep, I was here for that. I mean,
Pull back the tube, like the tool, and it goes,
Especially because I know
and turns into PVC, and then you have a 50-year lateral instead of $30 for $3 grand. You can spend $5 grand.
Sounds good. Have a great holiday.
Because I do too. And I'll plug it.